Good day, everyone. My name is Toyosi Labeodan. I'm the principal immigration consultant of TrueLink Immigration Services. I welcome you all to today's webinar. And our topic for today is Ielts and Canada immigration. Yeah, Ielts and Canada immigration. So we're going to be talking about what you need to know. I'm sure many of us actually know that Ielts is one of the things you need to do if you want to migrate to Canada. So I'm going to be talking extensively about it today and telling you what I think you need to know as an immigration consultant in Canada. So before I go on, I want to talk briefly about TrueLink Immigration Services. TrueLink Immigration Services was established to assist people who want to study, work, visit, migrate, or invest in Canada. We have a head office in Edmonton, Canada, and we have a branch office in Ibadan, Nigeria. So if you want to work, you want to migrate, you want to study, you want to visit Canada, we're actually the TrueLink that you need to achieve that goal. So you can reach out to us and you are sure that you will get the results that you want to get. So let's go on to today's topic. Ielts and Canada immigration. As I said earlier on, Ielts is one of the things that you need to do if you want to migrate to Canada. And previously, it wasn't compulsory for some countries, but about 5 to 6 years ago, they made it compulsory. So even if you're a British, you must do Ielts. If you studied in UK, you studied in US, or studied in Nigeria, or any country of the world, no matter where you studied or where you live, or your citizenship, it's a must that you must sit for Ielts if you want to migrate to Canada. This actually gives everybody a level playing ground, which means anybody can come to Canada. They have an objective way of assessing your language proficiency. Unlike before, when it was the job of the visa officers to determine whether you can speak English or not. At that time, all you just needed to do was maybe write something, you can write something or get evidence from your secondary school or your university to show that you studied in English. But now it makes it objective. They have a standard document, that's the Ielts result, that once you bring the results, it's obvious. It shows whether you can speak English or you understand English or you can read or write English. So it makes it so easy. So it puts everyone on a level playing ground. Now, there are so many types of Ielts. We have academic Ielts. We have general Ielts. We even have what they call UKVI Ielts. So there are so many types. But for immigration, the one that you need is the general Ielts. So, because I get a lot of calls regularly where people ask me, oh, should I sit for academic or I start for academic and I want to use it for migration? No. What you need for migration to Canada is general Ielts. So today we're going to be talking about general Ielts. I'm not really going to talk about the academic or UKVI or any other types that are available. So what is the score that you're expected to have if you want to migrate to Canada? Well, according to the manual, you are expected to have six in all categories. So IELTS has four categories: listening, speaking, writing, and reading. So according to the manual, I said according to the manual, if you score six in all categories, you are fine. But that might not really be practical. Yeah. So six is what IELTS said you should have. So if you have 666 in all categories, six in listening, six in writing, six in speaking, six in reading, you can apply. Most of the programs you'll be eligible to apply. Then there are so many programs. There are over 80 programs that you can use to migrate to Canada. Some actually have lower requirement for IELTS, while some, if you have the average score, you are likely going nowhere unless you have some other things that would give you increase your CRS score. That's your comprehensive ranking score. But if you are talking about extra entry, if you have 666 in all categories, or if you have six in all categories of the exam, your point is likely going to be very low. So if you are planning to migrate to the express entry, the recommended score I'm recommending that you should have is a minimum of 8 in listening, 7 in reading, 7 in writing, and 7 in speaking. If you're able to score higher than that, fine. That would be nice. So if you are planning to migrate to the express entry, don't even think or aim to score 6 in all categories. You might remain in that pool for a very long time. I'm not saying you can't still get a province to nominate you. Yeah, you might still be able to get a province to nominate you. But even those provinces too, they give preference to people that have higher scores, especially right now that you're having so many people who wants to migrate, and it's becoming very competitive, and they have to decide who they want to select out of so many people that have applied. So it's always good that you aim to score a minimum of 8 in listening and 7 in reading, writing, and speaking. And let me explain why that's my own recommended score that you are supposed to have. I will tell you why. When you have 8 in listening and 7 in all other categories, you are able to get the maximum score for language. When they are ranking you in the pool, you get additional points for language and education. If you score less than 8 in listening and 7 in all other categories, the maximum you can get is 25 for language and education. But if you have 8 in listening and 7 in all others, you can score as high as 50 points. Now, there's a part also where they combine language with your work experience. If you score less than 8 in listening and 7 in all other category, the maximum points you can get in that category is 25 points. But when you have 8 in listening and 7 in other categories, you can get up to 50 points. Now, that extra 50 points can make so much difference. So much difference. It looks so little, but it makes, in fact, at times, 2, 3 points can make a difference. And that's why if you can score more than 8 in listening and 7 in all other categories, it might be better for you. Because now the cutoff mark they're using for most of the draws is really going up, especially for by the time the draws they do for those outside Canada who want to come in through the express entry, the point has always been very high. So you need every little points that you can get from anywhere. So losing 50 points or more than 50 points because you scored less than 8 in listening and 7 in all other categories may not really help you unless you are lucky to get a provincial nomination from one of the provinces. Yeah, some provinces might require your skill, so they might not really be bothered about you having very low score in IELTS. What they might be bothered about is, okay, do you have the skill that we need? Then definitely if you have relatives in some provinces, that can give you extra points. So if you don't have relative and if a province does not require your skill, then it might be difficult for you to get a provincial nomination. For example, those in the IT sectors are in high demand in many provinces, Ontario, Saskatchewan, and so many of them. They might give them preference. But if you have many people in that field who now have a higher LCS score than you had. When they put them in the pool, they will have better scores than you, most likely. And if they need for okay, let me give you an example now. If I need 10 people to come to my province, just assume that I'm the government and we are trying to get 10 people here. And out I need just 10, and I'm having 50 people who add 8 in listening, minimum of 8 in listening, and 7 in all other categories. They get more points. And maybe someone else scored 6 in all categories. And I had 50 people who have scored 8 in listening, 8 in listening, and 7 in all others is what we call CLB9. So if you have a CLB9, if you have 50 people having CLB9, and maybe you are the CLB6 or 7, and I need just 10 people. By the time I rank them in a pool, I would have easily gotten 10 people that had a CLB9 before I get to you that had a CLB6. So it's always advisable that you aim to score the highest mark obtainable. Even if you are sure you get a provincial nomination, that's fine. It's still good that you aim to score the highest mark obtainable, which is getting a CLB9. If you get a CLB9, at least that's the minimum score I expect anyone to have. And CLB9 is having 8 in listening, 7 in reading, 7 in writing, and 7 in speaking. Now, there are some other programs that have lower requirements. For example, if you are migrating to the federal skill trade program, you're a carpenter, you're a plumber, you're a welder, and so many other categories. There are so many, it's a whole lot of lists. If you're migrating to that category, you don't really need a CLB6 or CLB9. No. The points, the requirement for those categories of programs are lower. In fact, if you have 5 in all categories, you're eligible to apply through the federal skill trade program. But I won't advise you to still have that. Why? Because right now it's getting so competitive. There are people who have master's degree who are now applying to those programs. And by the time they have a good score in IELTS, if the cutoff mark is not brought down to very low points, at the end of the day, they might not select you because your own points may be low. So don't aim for a low point. Aim to score a minimum of CLB9, despite the fact that you are aware that all of us are aware, or you are aware now that the cutoff mark for that program is quite low. Then, if you, for example, the caregiver program too, you don't need to score CLB9. If you have 5 in listening or 5 in all categories, you are eligible to apply. They just want to be sure that you understand English and you can speak English. And those ones require very low. If you have low score, you can still apply and you can still be selected. There are many other ones like that. But for the regular programs that most people are eligible for and that most people apply to, it's better for you to have a minimum of CLB9. So now, what are you supposed to do to get a CLB9? I have many people who come to me, and one issue they have is high LCS. I'm trying to ask people that are online right now that mention one thing that you want the government of Canada to remove from the migration process. I'm sure most people will say remove the requirement for IELTS. I did my primary school in English. My secondary school was in English. My first degree, BSc, was in English. My master's degree was in English. Even my PhD was in English. Why do you want me to go and start writing exams? So I'm sure many of us will actually say, oh, tell them to remove the requirement of IELTS. So a lot of people are having challenges with IELTS. Well, a few just they easily score the mark that I want them to score. But the funny thing now, what I've realized over the years, I've been doing this for a while. So as I'm a licensed medical consultant in Canada, I've interacted with a lot of clients. I've seen a lot of people who previously had challenges with IELTS and they came to me and were able to help them out. One thing I noticed is many of us want to start the immigration process right now and in 2 weeks' time complete the process. Many times it doesn't work like that. So for IELTS, I realize many people just take a week off work and they go and do the exam. Many times it doesn't work like that. We're not all skilled. It's all of us that can easily pass or blast exams like that. Yeah. A few people can, yeah, they can just do 2 days reading and understand everything and go for the exam and score the right mark. But some of us will require time. So what I've come to realize is you need a minimum of one month or maybe 5 weeks to do full time reading for high LTS if you really want to score that point. For most people, yeah, you need like 4 or 5 weeks minimum full time. And if you are busy, you can't do it full time, then you need to maybe spend like 3 months, maybe spending like 2 to 4 hours on a daily basis practicing IELTS. Don't just go and sit for the exam after 1 week of practice and you think you know everything and you know if you yeah if you have the capacity and you think you are capable. A few people are like that, they can just do it. But for most people, they cannot. So you need to there are so many materials online, so many free materials, resources that you can make use of. Maximize those resources, study them. Don't assume that because you speak English you know how the exam will look like. No, that assumption might be wrong. Understand what the examiner wants and give it to them as they want it. How do you understand what the examiner wants? You need to prepare. You need to study. Your not studying will not make you get the right mark. Some of us might need to study for 3, 4 months. Some of us might study for 1 month. Some might even study for 6 months. It depends on the time you have. So if you're a busy person, maybe you are a banker or you are so busy at work, you can go to work, come back, and decide that 8 to 10 every day. I'll spend 2 hours per day for the next 2 months to practice. You will still get a similar result. So you have to put a plan in place and work with your plan. Not that you just do 2 or 3 days crash program and say you're going for the exam. Many times it doesn't work. You don't get the right mark. So what you are supposed to do is take time, come up with a plan. You have listening, you have speaking, you have writing, you have reading. Don't go to that exam without practicing like 10 or 20 or even up to 30 practice questions. Yeah, if when you practice an exam that they have done in the past, it gives you an idea of what you were expecting the exam or. And if you're able to do well during the practice exam, it's likely that you do well during the main exam. And one of the things we do for our own clients is we give them practice tests. They're able to assess themselves first before they start preparing for the exam. So when you have assessed yourself, you have an idea of, oh, where am I starting from? Did I score 6 in all categories or did I have less than 6? Did I score 9 in all categories or did I score CLB 9? You have an idea of where you're starting from. Then you'll be able to use that to plan that, oh, look at where I'm starting from. I didn't really do well here. I think I need to put more effort into this category. Maybe listening, maybe reading, or maybe writing. And I'll give you an example of writing. Many of us practice writing by reading. It's funny. You want to practice writing by reading writing. It doesn't many times it doesn't work. Because when you get to exam hall, you need to write. You take your Bible and write. So if you want to practice writing, you need to write. Get those topics. What are those topics? What are those topics that comes out regularly? There are some topics that you can by the time you practice like 20, 30, 40 writing tests, you have an idea or at least have an idea of the kind of questions that they ask. Unlike when you are reading writing, you are just reading writing. No, it's practice. You need to do it. So that you see many people come in and they end up scoring 6.5 in writing. They had very good score in all other categories. They now have 6.5 in writing, and you're like, oh, that 6.5 as Paul would make you lose about 50 points. Because but if you had had 7, it would have been fine. So I want to encourage you to not just do 2, 3 days practice or even 1 week practice. Take time, plan it. Okay, I want to sit for IELTS in 3 months' time. How many hours per day will I practice this thing? Is it 2 hours per day, 3 hours per day? Is it early morning? Am I an early riser? Do I need to do it early morning? Maybe before I go to work, I can wake up at 4 o'clock, do 4 to 6 every day. Or if am I going to do it when I come back from work? Maybe when I get back from work at 7 o'clock, I do 1 or 2 things. Then I do 9 to 11 p.m. every day. Do that consistently for 2, 3 months, and you will see. Then practice, practice, practice. Don't go and sit for that exam without you practicing past exam question papers. No, you have to practice. Take your time to practice. Pass exam. Do as if you are doing an exam. Sit down there and practice, like do the exam as if it's a real exam, and see how far what you score. That will give you an idea of if you're able to score CLB9 when you are doing your practice, the likelihood that you will score the right mark that we suggested is a bit high. It's possible. So don't just do 2 days practice. Take your time, read well for the exam, get material. There are so many materials. In fact, online there are too many materials online, and online there are so many textbooks. So many textbooks that you can use to practice. So what do we do for our clients at TrueLink Million Services? The first thing we do is we have a training school where we train you on high LTS. We have seasoned lecturers who would take you through the program. Many of those that we have that train that do that for us, they have actually done the exam previously and they had CLB9 and above. So we are sure that they have passed through what you are about to pass through, so they understand what to tell you about it. Then apart from that, we also have an online training platform that we give to our clients free of charge. When you register with us, we give you that platform. That platform has so many practice exams that you can use to practice. Apart from the practice exam, it has it's a self-paced training platform that teaches you about the exam and also gives you a platform where you can practice real life exam and see what you score. It will assess you and give you a mark, so you have an idea of what your score will look like if you are really doing the real exam. So that's those are some of the things we do for our client. Then we give you a lot of resources. We have so many online resources that we give to you that if you make use of them, I'm too confident that you would get the right score. I'm just too confident about that. I want to talk about one of my clients who came to us. The person is in Canada right now. She had done high LTS 7 times before she came to us. 7 times. She came to us and we took her through this program, sat her down. I asked her myself, are you sure you really want to migrate to Canada? And this is what is delaying. Okay, fine, sit down. This is the plan. We came up with a plan together. And she went through that plan with us. She did it for 5 weeks. And I tell you, by the 6 weeks, she went for the exam and she had 8.5 in listening, had 8 in writing, 7.5 in speaking, and 7 in reading. She passed the exam, and as of today, she's in Canada. So if you also need help with IELTS, or if you have a challenge with IELTS, you can reach out to us. I'm confident that we can help you solve that problem. We have done it for many people, many of our clients who had similar problems. So I'm confident that if you follow our guides and you do what we ask you to do, I'm sure that you too will be able to pass the exam at your next sitting, no matter the number of times that you have done it. But it requires a lot of work. It's not just you coming to say, do it for me or whatever. You have to do it by yourself. But we will guide you, give you the right materials, and guide you, and also follow you up. We'll follow you up to find out how you are doing and tell you what you need to do to make yourself better. And at the end of the day, you can migrate to Canada, and we'll all be happy that you can come and join me here. We'll all be happy to see ourselves here and socialize together and start a new life opportunity in Canada. I want to encourage you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So if you like our Facebook page, you'll be able to follow us. If you also click on the follow button on our Instagram page, you'll be able to follow us and get up-to-date information about Canada immigration or any other programs that we may have that would be beneficial to you. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let me show you the link. Our handle is at TrueLink Travel. So just look for us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Our handle is at TrueLink Travel. So just follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can always get regular updates on Canada immigration and any other thing that we are doing that relates to Canada immigration. So I have some questions here. Let me just take them and attend to them. Someone said, what is the full meaning of IELTS? IELTS, International English Language Testing System. So it's one of the exams that you use when you want to, that you have to do when you want to migrate to Canada. It's one of them. There are so many other types. You have self-pick, but in Africa and many other countries around close to Africa, the common exam there is high IELTS. That's why I'm talking about high IELTS today. There are many other ones that are available, but today we're talking about IELTS. Let me see. Someone said to travel to Canada, is it a must to write the exam? Hmm. Yeah, for most program, it's a must. For most program, it's a must. But there are a few programs that do not require it, or let me even say there are some programs that it's not compulsory. You must have it. So if you don't have it, you don't get points for it. But if you have it, they give you points for it. There's some programs like that. But for majority of the programs that are available, especially when it comes to skilled migration, you must do it. They want to be sure that you can speak English or French. They want to be, they don't want some people to come here and because of language barrier, they are not able to communicate well. They're not able to settle down in Canada. I think they realized over the years that people that had issues with language were not able to settle down. Maybe they had to go back to their countries or they were not settling down easily. So they came up with the idea that okay, do a language test. If you can, it's not just English. If you can speak French, also it's allowed. Any of the two languages, either French or English, any of them. So if you can speak English, you do IELTS. If you want to be assessed on French, you do the French test. Someone said, can one get work permit without IELTS? It's possible. Yeah. Work permit is a temporary visa. It's not a permanent visa. So it's possible for you to get work permit without IELTS. But just like I said, work permit is temporary. So if you come here on a temporary basis, you want to become a permanent resident of Canada. You want to remain in Canada permanently. So you are still likely going to need to write the IELTS or any of the English language proficiency exams that they do. You might still need to do it when you want to convert to PR, permanent residence. You will still need to do the exam. Unlike work permits, you don't really require that for work permits. It's not a requirement for that, except the visa officer feels you're not able to communicate in English or French, and he wants to assess your proficiency in English. Maybe that's, but normally, it's not a requirement for work permit. Someone said, "Is it a must to write IELTS when coming to school?" No, it's not a must that you must write IELTS when coming to school. There are different programs, there are different schools, different requirements. Yeah, some schools require that you must do IELTS academic, but we have so many schools that will allow you to come to Canada, study in Canada, they'll give you admission, and you don't need to do IELTS. That is not compulsory. Any other question here? Okay. So, so once again, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Link Travel. Also follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, so that you can always get up-to-date information on Canada immigration. Thank you.